Thinking about upgrading your home? Hold that thought. Before you dive into that renovation and splurge on the latest trendy gadget, you'll want to hear this, because today I'm going to reveal the top 10 home upgrades that homeowners often regret, from luxurious features that really don't pay off to custom designs that limit the number of buyers who actually fall in love with your house. And we'll cover what to avoid so you can protect your investment and you're going to save time, money, and a lot of headaches. So let's go in descending order here. Number 10, overly customized renovations. Common regret that homeowners face when upgrading their homes is going overboard with customization. And it's a natural way that you want to reflect your home's personal taste and style, but it can actually hurt your chances of selling it later on. And many homeowners, they pour time and money into creating unique spaces that suit their specific tastes. And most buyers don't share those same preferences. So at the end of the day, buyers really want to see a home that feels fresh and has a fresh start for them. So as a home seller, you need to keep your upgrades really super simple. Now, if a buyer looks at your home and they think that they've got to spend a lot of time or money to change things back to a more neutral style, they can be less inclined to actually make an offer. The more a buyer feels that they need to change, the less value that they see in that home. So if things are overly customized, buyers will focus on what they need to work on instead of what will actually make them fit to their style. And this could ultimately decrease your home's appeal. So if you're thinking about any long-term and eventually selling your house, consider sticking to the more timeless features. And this includes traditional flooring, neutral colored walls, and practical, well-designed spaces. And you can still add personality to the decor and the furniture, but keep the foundational elements like the walls, the floors, and the layouts really more conventional. And this way, when it comes time to sell, your buyers will see a blank slate and they can easily envision making it their own. Now, mismatched materials are another area where homeowners tend to go wrong. And they tend to think kitchen with a marble countertop and wooden cabinets and stainless steel appliances are all great materials, but they need to be in harmony, guys. I mean, if materials clash or they feel out of place, it creates an unbalanced look. Buyers might feel like they need to renovate that space again, and that's one of the last things you want them to think about when they're buying your house. So when it comes to materials, try to keep things simple. For example, if you're using a certain type of flooring in one part of the house, carry that same material throughout other areas to create a balance and a flow. Now, this doesn't mean that everything has to be identical, so choosing the right materials can make a big difference, because choosing different textures and finishes and materials, it can overwhelm some buyers. Number 9, swimming pools. Now, swimming pools often seem like a good idea and they make your home feel like a luxury retreat. However, these features often end up being more trouble than they're worth, especially when it comes time to resale value and upkeep. Now, many homeowners install pools with the idea of having a great place to cool off, and this can wear off quickly, especially if you live in an area with a short swimming season. And buyers who are already aware of this will consider your pool a liability when they're looking at homes. So maintaining the pool also requires a lot of time, energy, effort, and money year-round, whether you're using it or you're not. So you got to think about cleaning and chemical treatments and upkeep, like repairing cracks and replacing parts, and this can all add up pretty quickly. So if you think of it from a buyer's perspective, a pool can be a double-edged sword. You know, families, young children, for instance, they may view it as a safety concern. They don't want to let their kids out back. And people who don't want to deal with maintenance and increased insurance costs could see the pool as a liability and more of a burden than a benefit. In fact, I've actually seen buyers request that a pool be filled in before considering making an offer. And this can make it harder to sell a house down the road. Not saying pools don't appeal to everybody, but in some cases, a pool does add a value to a home. And it greatly depends on the region and the area. Like if you have a warmer climate like Florida or Arizona or even in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a pool could help sell your house. But even then, if home values typically don't offset this cost of installing a pool in the first place, you may want to rethink it. Number 8, converting bedrooms into other spaces. Now, number 8 on the list is repurposing a bedroom into something else, like a home office or a gym or even a walk-in closet. Now, while it may feel practical, and this kind of change can backfire when it comes time to sell, especially if you're in a neighborhood where families make up a majority of the buyers, because bedrooms are often one of the most important factors potential buyers look at and consider when looking at a home. They even search the MLS by the number of bedrooms. So if you have changed something, it's going to change their search pattern as well. Because if your home has fewer bedrooms than similar properties in your area, it can actually lower the market value. I've seen this in condos where they've taken a 4-bedroom and a luxurious condo down to a 3-bedroom and made it into an office, they don't even come up in the searches in that building. So buyers will look at your home and feel if it doesn't meet their needs, they might assume that converting that room back to a bedroom could be an expensive and time-consuming project. But it's about the square feet, right? Look, when people are looking and searching for a new home, the number of bedrooms directly impacts how they envision living in that space. For example, a 3-bedroom house will appeal to a larger pool of buyers compared to a 2-bedroom house, even if one of those rooms has been converted into an office or a mini gym. Now, in most cases, buyers are willing to compromise on things like the size of a yard or the style of the kitchen, but they often aren't willing to settle on fewer bedrooms, especially if they have a family and they're planning on having guests. Number 7, the theater room. Now, the same goes for theater rooms. Buyers like options, but when you take that away from converting the space into a non-traditional room, you're just reducing their options and lowering the value of the home in their personal eyes. So think about it before you install this. Additionally, home theater rooms can be extremely expensive in the setup. You need a projector, a sound system, you need specialized seating, the lighting, and costs can actually add up pretty quickly. But are you going to get that back when it's time to sell? Now, even if you decide to DIY and you cut corners, like the wiring and acoustic treatments alone can take a hefty bite out of your budget. And more than likely, you're not going to get a full return of what you spent. And this also doesn't mean that a home theater is always a bad idea. If you genuinely love the experience and you know you're going to use it, then go ahead. It's your home after all. But if you're thinking about future resale value, it's important to weigh the pros and the cons carefully. Number 6, overbuilt features. Now, other super specific upgrades like adding a sauna or a wine cellar may fall into the same category. And these upgrades, they don't always hold their value in the long run, especially if you're considering them excessive or unnecessary by potential buyers. And the best advice is to avoid installing higher-end niche features if you're not in a higher-end house. Now, if they don't fit that lifestyle and you don't get good use out of them during the time in your house, otherwise you're investing in something that might not appeal to your average buyer. So in terms of ROI, stick to upgrades that have a broader appeal. Things like updated kitchens and bathrooms, they're almost appeal to every single buyer and they're going to appreciate that. But if you're set on adding luxury features, just be aware that you're doing it more for your personal enjoyment more than a financial return when you list your house on the market for sale. Number 5, poor quality materials and DIYs. Look, when you're upgrading a home, people just don't want to see sloppiness, right? Many homeowners fall into the trap of choosing cheaper materials just to save on costs. But you need to realize that cheaper materials, they wear out faster, and over time they can cost more in repairs and replacements, and sometimes they just don't look as good. So imagine installing low-cost laminate flooring instead of opting for a durable luxury vinyl. Now, after a few years, the laminate might start to warp and peel. And potential buyers, they're going to notice these imperfections. And when they do, guess what? They're starting to think about money and how much it's going to cost them to fix. And they're going to take that out of the value of the house. So even if it's a small thing, like an uneven paint job, these little issues add up in their minds when it comes to losing negotiating power. And people don't want to deal with a home that needs a lot of repairs the second that they move in. Number 4, smart home gadgets. Now, first off, technology changes faster than we realize. What's cutting edge today might be obsolete tomorrow. Now think about it. Just 5 or 10 years ago, intercom systems were a desirable feature in many large homes. People loved the convenience and being able to communicate between rooms without having to shout. But now, if you have one of these built-in intercoms, it kind of looks outdated in your house, right? And the same goes for central vacuum systems. Now, they've largely been replaced by portable vacuums and lighter weight vacuums that are easier to use and maintain. Buyers today may not be as excited about your smart lighting system or your app-controlled blinds as you are, especially if they view these systems complicated or expensive to maintain. Now, not everyone wants to control their home with an app. And for some people, they just want to keep it simple. And these features can feel like more of a hassle than an actual benefit. Also, some buyers would like to install a smart home device that they install in their home rather than the pre-installed one. That way they can ensure that no one else is seeing in on them and it works perfectly. Number 3, wallpaper and bold paint colors. Now, let's talk about paint colors first. Now, bold colors, they can overpower a room and distract a buyer from its actual size and layout. So in their minds, they see it as a project or something that needs to be repainted in a moment that they move in there. And this can deter buyers, especially first-time home buyers, who may already feel overwhelmed with the idea of renovation. And most people are used to seeing more neutral tones like beiges or off-white, which leave the rooms more open and an airy feel. They let the buyer focus on the potential of that space rather than the color of the wall. Now, this does not mean that your home needs to be boring, right? It's important to think about the broad appeal when making renovation choices. So you really want to add a pop of color. Consider doing it in a more temporary or replaceable way. For example, instead of painting the walls in bright colors, you may want to add color elements like artwork or furniture. And when it comes to wallpaper, it's all about the condition and the style. If the wallpaper is in good shape and the colors are still trending and it's not peeling, it's not stained or scratches, that's usually fine to leave it as is. However, bold or unique designs, they should be replaced with more neutral choices, or after you've taken it down, a fresh coat of paint. Now, in homes that are traditional styles like Victorians, keeping wallpaper is often fine. But buyers might see wallpaper as dated or costly to remove, and you want to listen to that feedback. Depends on where you live. If you hear a buyer make a negative remark about wallpaper, either you or your realtor, or you can suggest to have that removed as part of the purchase price offer. Number 2, overly customized outdoor spaces. Now, high maintenance landscaping can quickly become a chore rather than a pleasure. Now, keeping up with the watering, the pruning, the fertilizing, and in general maintenance, the elaborate garden can be both a time-consuming and costly endeavor. And some people are just too lazy to do all these things. So outdoor spaces should complement the home, not overshadow it. Keep in mind that buyers often prefer a versatile, low-maintenance space. Over-the-top features like custom fire pits and outdoor bars and other luxury finishes could end up feeling more like a burden to buyers who prefer simple, functional outdoor areas. Look, from a resale perspective, you're rarely going to get back dollar for dollar return on your investment from extensive landscaping. But good landscaping can help make a first strong impression, and it might help to get your house sold faster. But it's unlikely you're going to get back your full amount that you spent. Number 1, not taking professional advice. Now look, when it comes to selling your house, you may not align with what adds value to your home. This is where the expertise of a real estate agent or a stager is crucial. A decorator can help design your dream space. A real estate agent or a stager can actually show you which upgrades to actually improve your home's value and which ones detract from home's value. Stagers are going to focus on highlighting your home's strengths. They're going to declutter, making it more appealing to a wider audience. Similarly, a real estate expert has a deep knowledge of your local area and what buyers are actually looking for. This is super important when you're selling a house. This is going to help you avoid the costly upgrades that don't yield that return on your investment. So if you watched this video to the end and you found it helpful, make sure you share it with some of your friends or anybody you know who could use it. I'm Jerry with Jerry Pinkas Real Estate Expert. My real estate team is here to help you find your hidden gem and avoid those pitfalls that are costly. If you're thinking of buying or selling a house here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or anywhere in the United States, I can hook you up with the local experts. Just give us a call at 843-839-9870. Our team has helped thousands and thousands of people successfully move in the past 20 years, and we have seen everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We know just about everything when it comes to real estate. So if we can help you, that's what we do every single day. So until next time, stay happy, stay educated, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys.